Namaste, everyone. Welcome to Vinyasa Flow. If you are at home and you have props, please have them ready. You'll probably need a strap and you might need a couple blocks. So have them handy at the front of your mat. To begin, let's close our eyes and sit up nice and tall. Find an easy cross-leg position if that works for you, or any other sitting posture that feels comfortable. While we're here, just notice what your natural rhythm of breathing is like. And now that I've called attention to it, you'll probably start changing it. But try to relax and just be. As you're breathing, notice what the quality of the breath is like. Is it shallow? Did you already start deepening your breath before you even started practice? Is it jagged? Is it smooth? Keep sitting up tall, shoulders back, spine erect. And now, let's start with just loosening everything up in that breath. So take some big, clunky breaths. So deep inhale and exhale through an open mouth. Doesn't matter if it feels a little bumpy, a little clunky. Just shaking it all out. Maybe move those shoulders. Making a nice deep noise on that exhale. And now we'll try to change the breath intentionally. So bringing a little pranayama into our practice, just a little bit, nothing too fancy. So on the inhale, silently count to 3, and then on the exhale, double that for a count of 6. Keep that going. This is very calming and helps you get grounded and ready for our practice. You could even add Ujjayi breath into this if you're familiar with that. That is the ocean sounding breath or victorious breath where you rake your breath across the back of your throat and it makes that kind of Darth Vader noise, ocean sound. And it can also be likened to fogging up a mirror, but with your lips closed. So keep that inhale to a count of 3, exhale to a count of 6 going. Just one more round, maybe adding that Ujjayi. When it feels complete for you, just letting go, noticing how different you feel from just a few seconds ago when we were just sitting without changing anything. And while we're still here, still with our eyes closed, let's make our intention for our practice. So your intention can be for yourself, for a loved one, for your neighborhood, for your state, your country, your universe, whatever you need or you know someone else needs. Maybe bring hands to heart center. Always keep adjusting to sit up nice and tall. Maybe sucking the belly in, bringing chin to chest, so engaging all those locks gives that intention a little bit more power. So repeat that intention to yourself 3 times. And then let it go. And if you'd like, you can join me, even though we're far apart, in an opening Om. So taking a great inhale. Om. Let's introduce some gentle movements. You could softly blink open those eyes, letting the hands come to the knees. Feel free to always take those nice big breaths, exhaling through an open mouth. Let's start with just some seated side bends, so bringing the right hand down to the mat next to you. Left hand sweeps overhead. Try to keep that left sit bone rooted to your mat to get that nice long line in the left side body. You can stay on the palm of your right hand, or if you're naturally a little bit more flexible or feeling open today, you can come down to your forearm. I'm going to stay up a little bit so as to keep that left sit bone nice and rooted down. One more deep breath. And on the exhale, let's just switch sides. So left hand comes down, right arm sweeps overhead, looking towards the sky. This time it's that right sit bone. And breathing here. You can always keep that Ujjayi breath going throughout the entire practice. It's always a good one to keep yourself calm and focused. Always focusing on the breath throughout all the movements. So let's come on back up. Let's take a simple forward fold. Maybe you could switch your legs just to kind of give yourself a little different sitting position. Maybe you want to interlace your fingers behind your back, so like this, but behind. And we're just going to fold forward, hinging at the hips, leading with the heart. So just melting forward and just as far as you can go, and if you'd like, you can bring those hands up overhead. Give yourself both a forward fold and a little shoulder stretch. If it's ever too much, coming up, keeping the integrity of the pose, maybe on the inhale, rising, and on the exhale, folding in a little bit deeper. One more deep breath. And on the inhale, rising up, maybe sweeping those arms up to the sky just to give a nice big old stretch. And then coming back down, let's come onto hands and knees for some cat-cows. So, in your cat-cows, you're making sure that hands are underneath shoulders, knees are underneath hips. And on the inhale, letting the belly sink down nice and low, looking up to the sky. On the exhale, rounding the back like a Halloween cat, looking through those legs. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more round here, going with your rhythm of breath. If you need a little bit more time, that's fine. And then coming to a neutral position, and we'll tuck those toes underneath, sending the seat up to the sky, downward facing dog. Now your heels may not reach the mat, that is okay. They can be up, your knees can even be bent. Just make sure that those hips are going towards the sky. You could pedal out the feet. Spread those fingers wide, using all parts of the hand. And of course, breathe. So gaze is towards the thighs or the tummy. Still warming up, so your downward facing dog might look a little bit different, and that's okay. Let's look to the top of the mat. Let's step forward, coming to a half lift, a nice flat back. And then let's fold in. First forward fold. So your hands may be far from the earth. You could bring blocks alongside if they don't quite reach. Or you could just grab opposite hand to opposite elbow and let yourself hang. Pressing through all parts of the feet, looking through the knees. And breathing. The knees can be slightly bent here too. Probably aren't quite warmed up yet, so that is Okay. One more deep breath. And on the inhale, rising up, reaching hands overhead and coming through the heart, standing at the top of your mat in Tadasana. Get nice and situated. If any clothing got a little messed up, get yourself feeling right again. Shoulders back. Feel the earth beneath your feet. Let's go through a couple rounds of Surya Namaskara A. Reaching the hands up overhead, folding forward. Looking up to a flat back, coming down, hands beside the feet, jumping or stepping back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Coming a little bit forward. The ribs are right in between those elbows, coming up to downward facing or upward facing dog, and rolling over the toes to downward facing dog. Breathe in here. After that third breath, looking to the top of the mat, jumping or stepping forward, looking up to a flat back, and folding in deep. Coming up, reaching hands up overhead and through the heart. In Tadasana, standing here nice and tall. Let's do it all over again. Reaching up, Urdhva Hastasana. Folding forward, Uttanasana, Ardha Uttanasana. Coming on down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Once again, 3 breaths. Looking to the top of the mat, jumping or stepping forward. Half lift, folding in, reaching up through the heart. All right. Let's go through Chandra Namaskar, which is the moon salute. Even though it's not nighttime, I love this one. It really does just feel so good. It really stretches things out. So let's spread the feet hip width distance apart, hooking thumbs and arching back. Coming down into Malasana. Stepping back with the left foot, hooking thumbs, arching back in that low lunge. Hands coming besides that, around that front foot. Bringing the leg back to kneeling, hooking thumbs, arching back. Ustrasana, camel pose. And then you come through into your wisdom pose. Hands come up in front, child's pose. And then we're going to come into our Cobra like a little inchworm, right through the hands into our Cobra. Back into wisdom pose. Oops, I'm hitting one of my beautiful little figurines here. From here we step up with that right foot. Hooking thumbs and arching back. Hands come to frame the front foot. Stepping up. Hooking thumbs, folding forward. Hook thumbs in front, arching back. Hands through the heart. Now we just have the other side. Standing in Tadasana just for a couple breaths. We'll do that all over again. Let's hook thumbs and arch back. Coming down to frame those feet in Malasana. Stepping back with the right leg. Hooking thumbs, arching back. Hands frame the foot. Bring the left leg back. Hooking thumbs, arching back. Come through to your wisdom pose. Hands come forward, child's pose. Like a little inchworm, we come to our Cobra, into our wisdom pose. Now we step forward with the left foot for our low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Hooking thumbs and arching back. Framing the foot. Stepping up. Hooking thumbs, folding forward. Rehook in front as we finally arch back for one last time. And through the heart. Tadasana, breathe. Standing here, feeling everything. We'll flow through some standing poses now. Let's step back with the right foot for Warrior One. So in Warrior One, we have our hips square to the front of the room. Since I am not facing you, I will show you the difference here between a lot of our poses where the hips are closed versus being open. You can see that I'm square to the camera. Go back. All while you're getting settled into this pose, remember you're breathing. So those right toes should be facing the upper right-hand corner of the mat. Nice bend in that left knee. Arms are nice and straight, shoulders relaxed. You can even gaze up a little bit. Very powerful. One more breath. And then we're just going to straighten that leg. We're going to take our intense standing forward fold. Now, you may need to bring that back foot up a little bit because you don't want that back heel to pop up off the mat. And you may need your props. Maybe some blocks on either side of that front foot or a little further back. Our intense standing forward fold, you're going to come down, make sure those hips are still square, maybe a little micro bend in that front knee, and either reaching blocks or the floor. I like to point my thumbs forward, just feels nice to me, and then folding in, leading with the heart. I like to start with blocks as I breathe and get warmer and warmer. Maybe I can get a little bit lower. Making sure those hips are even. Since it's just me here, maybe mine aren't. There's no teacher here to correct me. I'm still a student too. Hopefully they are. Maybe you could play with some hand gesture. You could take reverse prayer, fold forward, maybe interlace those hands, whatever feels right to you. This helps us prepare for a revolve triangle. So one more breath here. And then you might need that block again. Maybe you don't. You might want it on the inside of the foot, outside of the foot, or maybe you're just going whole hog, outside of the foot, no block. That's the final pose. When you are ready, reaching that left hand up to the ceiling. If you lose your balance, you can always come back down, as I almost did right there. You can also just look to the ground, but the full pose would be gazing towards the ceiling. It is a balance. And breathing. Keep that micro bend in that knee. Bring that heart around. It's a twist. One more breath. Windmilling that top arm down. We're back in that intense standing forward fold. Now let's heel toe that back foot a little bit more, and we'll come into our extended triangle. Bringing that right hand up. It should feel really good because we were all twisted around. You might even need to bring that foot back a little bit more. Opening up that side body. Maybe the hand is on the shin. Maybe it comes all the way down to the foot. Maybe it reaches the floor. Like you're being squeezed between two panes of glass. Stacking shoulders. Breathing. Maybe a little micro bend in that knee. I always have to remind myself because I hyperextend my knees. You don't want to do that. But we all have our stuff. One more deep breath. And on the exhale, windmilling the hand down, bringing that left foot back. Let's go through vinyasa, lowering down his elbows, shave those ribs, coming into upward facing dog, downward facing dog. And breathing. Always working. Don't let it be a passive pose. Keep everything alert as you breathe, pressing through all parts of the hand, all parts of the feet. Hips reaching towards the sky. Looking up to the top of the mat, jumping or stepping forward, taking a little half lift, folding in deeper. Let's pause for a little bit here in our forward fold. Maybe you can grab onto the big toes with those peace sign fingers, letting the elbows go wide, and breathe. Head hangs, maybe shaking it a little bit, yes and no. Gazing through those knees. Let's come on up, reaching up overhead. We'll go through those poses on the other side. Let's step back with the left foot into warrior one. So once again, checking in on your alignment. If you don't like where your foot landed, change it. Nice bend in the front knee. Left toes reaching towards that upper left-hand corner of the mat. Hips are squared. Hips are squared for the entire sequence except for the last pose. Then we open those hips up in our triangle pose. Building strength as we stand and breathe. Nothing to do and everything to do all at the same time. Making subtle adjustments. Nice straight arms. One more breath. Straightening the front leg. Once again, any adjustments? Do you need to move that leg up? I'm going to see what happens if I stay here. Nice square hips. Keep checking in. Folding forward. And I'm going to move up a little bit. This side's a little bit more open for me than the first side we were on. Most people will have that. Keep melting that heart as you breathe in this intense standing forward fold. Couple more breaths. Playing with any hand gestures if you'd like. It's a balance, so it might be a little hard. Preparing for your revolve triangle. Once again, lots of options. Use these props. Hands can be on the inside or outside of the foot. Let's see what happens here. My hair is in the way. Extending that right arm up to the ceiling, stacking the right shoulder on top of left. Feel the twist in the belly, massaging those internal organs, looking up to the sky if you can. Ooh, it can be a little shaky, or look down to the floor if you feel like it's making you uncomfortable to the point of not being able to breathe. You must breathe. One more deep breath. Windmilling that top arm down. Once again, we find ourselves in the intense standing forward fold. Then we're going to open up into our triangle, so I'm not going to be facing you. And then stretching out. Once again, we're finally opening the hips up. It's like a reward at the end of the practice. Maybe a little micro bend, getting that nice stretch through the left side body, stacking left shoulder over right shoulder. Maybe in order to get the best pose, you need to come up a little bit higher. That's okay. Don't cheat and pop that booty out. You don't want that. Nice and all in one line. One more breath. And then let's windmill that left hand down. Bring that right foot back. Vinyasa. You can always take knees, chest, and chin, or just go right to a child's pose. So you can be in child's or in your downward facing dog. We'll go through a couple more standing poses. Let's lift that left leg up to the sky. Nice square hips. Bend the knee and bring it forward. Coming into our lunge. Now you can stay down low. You can come up a little bit higher and bring the hands to the knee. Or you can raise the arms. Lots of options. And breathe. Nice straight arms. Straight right leg. From here, we're going to go into our warrior three. So we're going to use the ball of the right foot to kind of power ourselves forward. You might need to take a few steps. I'm going to see what I can do. Launching myself forward. Woo! Now I like to bring my hands into prayer. I don't like that whole hands out in front of me. And it takes me a while. This is a challenging pose for me. You might need to bring your hands down. And you really want to concentrate on letting that right hip sink down. I always find my right hip likes to pop up. Shoot that right leg back, parallel with the earth as best you can. Keep that body parallel with the earth as best you can. I can't tell what I look like. I hope it looks all right. And then bring those hands down. Woo, if you fall, it's okay. The mat catches you. And we're going to take a standing split. Let the head hang, bringing the chest close to the thigh. Your foot may be parallel with the earth like it was in Warrior 3. That's okay. May not really be reaching towards the sky. No worries. Just breathe. I know mine's kind of somewhere in the middle. One more breath. And gently place the foot down. Heel toe that left foot out a little bit. We'll come into our lizard pose. Now, lots of options here. You can bring that knee down. Maybe let those toes uncurl and stay here on the palms. You can come down to the forearms. You can maybe rock onto the side of the left foot. Open up the knee. And breathe. Whatever your body needs in this moment. And when you're ready, Coming back up onto your hands if you're on the forearms. Maybe swing that left leg back, come through a vinyasa or child's pose or downward facing dog. And breathe in your down dog or child's. If you're in your child's pose and you still need more time, maybe just pause the video. If you're ready, let's meet in downward facing dog. We'll reach that right leg up to the sky and step it on forward for our lunge. So once again, staying low, coming up to the middle, or reaching the arms up high. And breathing. When you're ready, either reaching those arms forward, maybe bringing them into prayer, and coming into your warrior three. However you need to get there. Let that left hip sink down. Stretch that leg behind you. Warrior three. Maybe arms can go behind. Oh, I made myself lose my balance doing that. That's what happens. One more breath. Bring those hands down for your standing split. Let the head hang. Bring the chest close to that thigh. How's the Ujjayi breath going? And let's bring that foot gently down with control. Heel toe that foot over. Bring the hands inside the foot. Maybe you want to drop them to the top of that knee nice and gently. Come down to the forearms. You know the options now. Maybe let that leg. You can even gently push, just gently. Just opening things up in your lizard. When it's complete for you, coming up, maybe swinging that leg back for a final vinyasa. Chaturanga Dandasana, or knees, chest and chin. Upward facing dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Let's everybody take a child's pose, coming to your knees. And when you're feeling ready for that, arms forward, forehead to the mat. Really stretch those arms far forward, maybe bringing toes together, knees maybe could come a little bit wider. And we'll start some seated postures now. So taking your time. Coming up to Tadasana. So in Tadasana, we're making lots of right angles. Flex those feet. Bring the hands alongside the hips. Nice tall spine, shoulders back. Getting ready for our seated forward folds. And we'll start with both legs out in front, hands up nice and high, and then reaching towards the feet. Leading with the heart. So lots of options here, right? Maybe you're just going to come for the shins. Maybe you can reach the sides of the feet or the toes. Maybe you're really flexible and you want to put that block and grab for the block. Just make sure you're not rounding too much. Now the body isn't, you know, just a bunch of straight lines. So there's always going to be a little bit of rounding, but what you don't want, and I'll show you what you don't want, is something that looks like this. You don't want that hump, right? So try to lead with the chest. So if that means you're up here, that's okay. If you feel a stretch, you're good. So keep that breath work going. Inhaling, maybe rising up a little bit. Exhaling, maybe you can get a little bit closer. And when that feels complete for you, though you could probably stay here for a long time, we'll rise on up. And we'll take something very similar, Janu Shirshasana. So bring the sole of the right foot on the inside of the left leg. And if that knee doesn't quite reach the ground, make sure you have that block so you can bring the ground up to you. You want to feel relaxed on this leg. And when you're ready, reaching up, folding forward. Once again, same rules apply. Maybe the shin, maybe you can reach the feet, maybe, or the foot rather, maybe you want to block there. And we breathe. This is my tight side, as I mentioned before. So I definitely can't get as low here. I really feel the stretch. And I go just to my edge. It's a little uncomfortable, but not to the point where I can't stand it or I'm feeling pain. You just go right to that edge so that each day maybe it gets a little bit looser, or you just find that you can tolerate a little bit more. And while we're on this side, if you can grab the big toe, do. If you can't, just kind of move your hand on the inside of your leg and your elbow. We're going to take a little twist where we open up our heart to the right side. And let's reach that right arm up and maybe reaching it towards that foot. Now it's really easy to cheat here and really deprive yourself of this side body stretch, which we've been really working on this practice, because the goal is to grab that big toe. And I see a lot of people grab that big toe and then instantly they're going like this. And that defeats the purpose. We're not getting that stretch. And I know everyone wants to get the toe, but getting the toe isn't really the point. What you really want is to open that side body. So my hand's just kind of floating. It's just kind of chilling there. Doesn't quite reach. It's okay. I'm breathing. One more deep breath. And let's bring it all up. Let's cross that right foot over the left leg. We'll take a seated twist. You can either keep the leg straight out in front of you, or you can bend it. And what we'll do is we'll bring that left arm around, elbow kind of helps you, and bring either that right hand behind you, just supporting yourself like this, looking over that right shoulder, or you could go into any type of bind, maybe reaching for that left thigh or the right ankle. Whatever you do, just make sure that you're sitting up nice and tall and that you roll that right shoulder back and keep that foot planted nice firmly on the ground. Sit bones are both on the ground. So that means you can't twist as far as I'm twisting. That's okay. Go to your edge and breathe. Let's bring the chin to the front and back again. And then coming back around, letting go of any binds. If it's possible for you, let's stack that right knee on top of the left in cow face pose. The sides of the feet are resting on the mat. If this is not possible, just come to a cross-legged position. That's fine. We're just going to take another little forward fold here. So also, if you'd like, you could take an arm gesture. You could use a strap. If you find that your hands don't quite meet, you can just dangle the strap in your hand. I know that I can do this one, so I'm not going to need it for this one. But reach that left hand up and then bend the elbow. And then that right hand is going to try to grab for those fingertips. And like I said, if those fingertips don't quite touch, just grab that strap in that hand. Let it dangle and then grab for the strap. And if this doesn't interest you, you don't need to do it. What's cool about cow face pose, what we're in right now, is that it's both a back bend, because we're opening our heart. You can feel that little tiny back bend happening, and a forward fold, because now we're going to hinge at the hips and come forward like you're looking over the cliff. And breathe. And on the next inhale, rising up. And letting go of any binds. And then let's untwist those legs. Bring them out in front. Maybe just kind of let those knees get a little bit of space. And we will go for the other side. So let's bring the sole of the left foot inside. I just felt a crazy pop happen. And then we'll reach the arms up overhead, hinging at the hips, Janu Shirshasana. So as you can see, this side is quite open for me. I can get much deeper here. Just stories we have on things that have happened, on injuries. We're all such an interesting, complicated story. But maybe it's not so complicated after all. And as you're here, as always, on the inhale, maybe rising up a little. On the exhale, coming a little bit closer. Now you keep doing that. I'm actually going to switch which side I'm on so that you can see me. From here, we're going to either grab that big toe or the shin, bring the elbow on the inside of the leg, and we're going to get that nice twist and opening on the left side body. And as I explained before, that arm comes forward, but don't cheat. It's not worth it. It's not worth getting that big toe. Feel that side body stretch. And even, you know what, try to get long here. It feels like we're crunching here, but think about bringing space everywhere. What would that feel like? Just imagine, open yourself up to the possibility. Keep those sit bones planted. One more breath. And then bringing the arm down, coming on up. Bringing the sole of the foot on the mat, crossing the leg over. Once again, leg can stay straight or fold it arm behind. And then we'll take our seated twist. So bringing the right arm across, left arm either comes behind the back, or you can grab onto your ankle or thigh or whatever's available. There are lots of binds in this pose that are fun that you can play with. And breathe. Keep rolling that shoulder back. Bringing the chin again. Let's stack that left knee on top of right. Sides of the feet are on the mat. This time that right arm comes up overhead. Bend the elbow, bring that strap if you need it. Opening up the heart, folding forward. And then rising back up. Letting go of the strap, any binds. Bringing those legs straight out in front of you. Maybe tapping it out a little bit. And we're going to go into our crux pose, a pose that we've been kind of working towards with some of the standing poses and the seated forward folds, which is our sundial pose. So you might need a strap. I may be able to do it without, I'm not sure. So, coming in, kind of into that Janu Shirshasana. So, letting that right knee come out to the side. Now, you may need that strap, as I said. You can either just wrap it around this foot or make a little lasso. Bend your knee. And what you're going to do is thread your left hand underneath the leg. And I'm going to see if this happens for me or not. You might need that strap. So either holding onto the strap or grabbing onto the side of the left foot, and then you're going to straighten that leg, woohoo! And looking under that right arm, up to the sky. Straighten that leg as best you can. Maybe even with the strap you have to bend the knee, that's okay. Keep breathing. Keep playing with it. And when you've had enough, release, bend the knee, come on down, shake it out. We'll do the other side. So if you need that strap, place it in the opposite hand. Bringing the left knee down, bending the right knee. So grabbing with the opposite hand. So the right arm's going to thread underneath the right leg and extending out, sundial pose, looking under the left arm. Feeling the opening of the left side body. And when it is complete for you, coming on down, releasing the strap. All right, so from here we're going to go into our inversion, and then we'll just have a couple of poses on our backs to bring us out. So you can do any inversion that you know. You can always use the wall. It's right behind me here. So I'm going to go into my headstand. So the headstand that I like to do is where I interlace my fingers and I bring my arms on the mat, bringing where the hairline is on your head first on the mat, and then you're going to kind of roll up a little bit further as you straighten the legs out. Now it would be good if you are not proficient in this to have a wall, but if you are working on a Kunchanasana, maybe coming to the tiptoes and then just bending those knees. That's a Kunchanasana. And if you're ready, maybe working on straightening those legs. Coming all the way up. And breathe. When you've had enough, Try to use control, maybe bring the knees in again. Nice soft landing. And straighten those arms out, take a child's pose. When you're ready, let's meet on our backs. So we're going to come into our bridge pose. You might want to do a muscular bridge, or maybe you're feeling like you need a little bit of support. I'm going to use a little support. So I like to use a block just to get myself up nice and high, but without having to do the work. It's a nice little reward. At the end of practice, you can choose which level of the block. Make sure that those feet are parallel with the toes pointing forward. And just settle in. Let the prop hold you up. Or, if you're working on a muscular version, maybe you interlace the hands underneath your back and then pop the pelvis up towards the sky. And you're breathing there. What I like about this is it just feels so good when the prop comes out and you hug your knees in. If you could stay here a little bit longer, just pause the video and just breathe. Maybe you want to do a series of back bends. You could do a couple bridges, maybe then finally a wheel. We didn't focus on a ton of back bending, so I don't know if you'd be ready for a wheel, but maybe if that's in your practice, you could go for that. Whenever everything is complete for you, bring those knees in, take Apanasana. Little spine massage here, rocking back and forth. And then we'll take our fish pose. So straighten those legs out. Very important all the time, especially now. Good for the immune system. So when you're ready, you're just going to lift that chest up, opening the throat, and then resting comfortably on the head. If the head does not reach the mat, make sure you bring a blanket or maybe even a block. You want to make sure that the head isn't just dangling. Flare the toes and breathe. When you've had enough, releasing carefully, not to hurt the neck, maybe use your arms as you lift the head up. Take a little mini Shavasana. We'll just do one more pose, a little reclining twist. So bringing the soles onto the mat, bump the buttocks to the left, knees to the right, maybe bringing the arms in a T or the cactus pose. And just breathing here, feeling the twist, letting your belly be soft, maybe gazing to the left. When it's complete for you, taking care as you switch sides, bringing the soles of the feet on the mat, buttocks to the right, knees to the left, and you gaze over to the right. And then, as you're ready, bringing the knees up, soles of the feet on the mat once again. You could either stretch out into your standard Shavasana pose, or maybe just let the soles of the feet come together. Bring the knees wide. A little Supta Baddha Konasana. I like to put my hands on the belly, it just feels nice for me. Or anything that feels good for you right now. Finally, you'll softly start introducing movements again to your body. Maybe a big stretch. Nice and gentle, wiggling fingers and toes. You could roll to your right side if that's comfortable for you. Take a big inhale and exhale through an open mouth. Use a free hand to come up. And find yourself in that seated position we were in at the beginning of class. Close with a short mantra. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandim Pushti Vardhanam Orvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshya Mamratata. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. You could join in for a final closing Om, taking a great inhale. Om. Peace to you, joy to you, love to you. Namaste.